When I give presentations to conferences and events, one of the most common questions that I get on a most regular basis is, James, how can I deal more effectively with objections? We all get objections in all of our sales lives on a regular basis. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 things that you can do that can help you avoid the most typical objections that you get. Let's take a look at the video and start to look through what you can do to get better sales results. So, objections. We all hate them as salespeople. It's frustrating when you get them as a business owner. So what can you do to avoid getting those objections down the line and being in that position when you're frustrated that a deal's not completed when you hoped it would do? The first thing I say to people about objections, and it's something you may not think is relevant to sales, but I believe is fundamental to the sales process and objections, is be very, very clear about your target customer. Your target customer is the group of customers that you serve best in what you do. And ultimately, if you can really focus in on a very specific group of people that you deliver a brilliant service for, and more importantly, you solve a major problem for, it's going to help you convince those prospects that haven't yet bought from you to work with you. Companies that are very targeted about what they do find that, yes, they may still have to discuss this issue around price and contracts and the way in which things work, but they don't find the initial objection around whether the prospect should even consider that in the first place. Or actually they don't get the objection that the prospect's too busy to engage, because the prospect knows that what that company does can make a real impact for them. So be very targeted, be very clear about who you're working with in your customer set, and it's going to help you solve and prevent objections further down the line. Point number 2 around how to avoid objections is to qualify. If I could give you 3 words to use in order to avoid sales objections, they would be qualify, qualify, and qualify your prospects more effectively. What do I mean? In my driver model, I talk about the word investigation. I always talk to prospects that I work with around asking question after question to really get beneath the surface of the prospect that they're dealing with. What are the concerns? What are the challenges? What are the pain points? What are the issues that have been affecting them, and how is it affecting them? How is it affecting them personally? Keep going with as many questions as you can. Write them down, note them down in your CRM. Because what that will do is 2 things. Firstly, it enables you to get a better understanding of the prospect, and so you can see whether A, you're a right fit for them and want to work with them. But most importantly, when it comes down the line to seeing an objection, you can then go back and talk to the prospect and say, you told me a couple of days ago that this was actually something that was really key for you, or that this was a pain point for you. So let's focus on solving that pain point rather than worrying about what it costs. Objections happen because you haven't qualified the prospect enough in the first instance, and you should be spending 65–70% of your time qualifying, understanding, getting to know the prospect more effectively so you can see if you're a fit and then work with them. So if you want to avoid those objections coming down the line, work on a set of questions. If you want some help with that, reach out to me at James White Sales and I'll help you put some questions together. But qualify effectively initially, and it's going to help prevent objections further down the line. So the third thing to do to avoid sales objections happening, and it's something that's a really difficult thing for people to do in sales, is to be prepared to say no to long meetings and calls if the prospect you're working with doesn't really know what they want. Be polite, be courteous, but maybe suggest to them that they need to qualify their thought process a little bit more before they engage with you, or maybe even suggest to them you're happy to help them qualify that if you can understand more about what they're looking to achieve and when they're going to do it. The reality is, sometimes prospects will like to talk about themselves and their challenges and what they do, but that doesn't help you if you can't get clear, definitive answers. Be prepared to say no initially to the prospect if you feel that they don't know what it is they want, or if you can't say no, at least elicit the questions from them that can enable them to really clarify what they want. Do those initial elements of work early, and it's going to save you the hassles and problems that come from objections further down the line, which are the scourge of all salespeople and business people that I work with. So there are 3 things to do to avoid those objections. I hope they can help. I always talk to my customers about having objection frameworks in place so that when the typical responses come in, you can then provide a response back. And if you'd like some help putting together sales objection frameworks, talk to me, reach out to me at hello@jameswhite.business, and I'd love to help you put an objection framework in place that can enable you to convert more prospects into customers. My name's James White. I'm the UK's leading prospect conversion expert. I'd love you to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you've loved the video and found it useful, and I look forward to sharing more video thoughts with you soon.